She said, "I'm just confused," and the words sliced through the air like a knife. I stood frozen in the doorway of the bedroom, watching her as she fidgeted with her phone, avoiding eye contact. It didn't make sense. It didn't feel right. How could she be confused? After everything we'd been through, after years together, I thought we were solid. I thought she knew where we stood. Her voice was shaking now, and she dropped her phone on the bed, rubbing her temples like she was trying to fight back tears. "I don't know what I want right now, Jake. I need space. I need time." A lump formed in my throat. Space. Time? It felt like the walls of the room were closing in around me, and I couldn't breathe. This wasn't a conversation I had been prepared for. This wasn't a conversation I'd ever expected to have with her. We'd always been honest with each other. We'd promised never to let things get complicated. But here we were. I swallowed hard, my voice barely more than a whisper. "What are you saying? You don't want us anymore?" She winced at the words, her face going pale. "No, it's not that. I don't know what I feel anymore." Not that. Her words felt like a paradox. How could she not know what she felt when she had been my partner for the last 5 years? My best friend. My confidant. We had made plans for the future together. We talked about marriage, kids, buying a house, growing old. All the big, beautiful things. But now she was confused. Her voice, once full of certainty and love, was laced with hesitation. I turned away from her, needing to put some space between us, needing to think. My mind raced, trying to make sense of it all. She was the love of my life, the person I trusted above anyone else. And yet, now, she was pulling away. She was suddenly unsure of us. I glanced at her makeup bag on the nightstand, its small leather zipper barely visible under the mess of clothes she had thrown around. The sight made my chest tighten. We'd been through this before, the hidden moments, the secrets tucked away in her things. I hated that I felt the need to check, but something in my gut told me to. So I reached for the bag, my hands trembling slightly. When I opened it, I found something I never expected, a small stack of folded papers, tied with a ribbon. I pulled them out, the weight of them feeling heavier with every second. These weren't just random notes. The handwriting was unmistakably hers, but it wasn't addressed to me. The letters, the words, they hit me like a punch to the stomach. It was a Sunday afternoon, a couple of weeks earlier, when I first started noticing the small changes. I couldn't pinpoint when exactly, but something felt off. It was subtle at first. The way she seemed distracted when we were together, the way her laughter didn't quite reach her eyes anymore. Her smiles felt forced, like she was putting on a show. At first, I thought I was just being paranoid, overthinking things. But the distance between us grew, and I couldn't shake the nagging feeling that something wasn't right. I tried to brush it off. We had been in a relationship for a while, and maybe it was just the stress of life weighing on her. Maybe work was hard, or maybe she just needed some time to herself. But then I started seeing signs that I couldn't ignore. It started with the texts. She was getting more and more distant when we were talking, replying late, leaving things unfinished. At first, I thought she was just busy, but then I noticed something else. She was texting someone with a frequency that seemed off. It wasn't just casual conversation. There was an intimacy to it, a familiarity that made my stomach turn. I try not to overthink it, but when your gut is telling you something is wrong, you can't help but listen. One evening, I decided to check her phone. I had never done it before, but I felt desperate, and what I saw made my heart stop. Her conversation with someone named Ben, someone I didn't know, was filled with inside jokes, plans, and words that felt too close for comfort. They talked about their favorite places, about going to concerts, and even the possibility of seeing each other more. I felt the world tilt beneath me. I didn't know who Ben was, but it didn't matter. I felt betrayed and confused. That night, I confronted her. I tried to remain calm, tried to understand, but the hurt was so overwhelming. She looked guilty. She was hesitant. She didn't admit to anything directly, but it was clear she was hiding something. But it wasn't until today, when I opened that damn makeup bag, that I finally understood what had been going on. The letters I found weren't just casual notes. They were filled with promises, sweet words, and plans. She had been writing to Ben, her coworker, I later found out. And the words in those letters were everything I thought we had, everything I thought we shared. She spoke of a future with him, a future that didn't include me. I read one of the letters out loud in disbelief. My throat was tight as I whispered the words. I can't wait for us to be together, to build something real. I think of you every night, and I dream of what our life will look like. Another letter said, I want to move in with you one day. I can't imagine life without you. I felt sick. Every word felt like a betrayal. Every sentence was a reminder that the woman I loved had been planning a life with someone else. And here I was, trying to piece together the fragments of a relationship that had been nothing more than a lie. She had said it was just a fling, but it was more than that. It was a plan, it was hope, it was love. Love that she had poured into someone else, while I stood there, believing she was still mine. I closed the letters and put them back in the bag. I didn't want to keep them, but I knew I couldn't just throw them away. Not yet. I needed to think. I needed to process what had just happened. I stood in the middle of the room for a long time, trying to make sense of everything. How had I missed all the signs? How had I been so blind? I thought I knew her better than anyone, but clearly I didn't. I thought our love was built on trust, on communication, but it had been built on a foundation of secrets and lies. I felt angry. I felt heartbroken. But most of all, I felt betrayed. I still don't know how I'm going to confront her. I don't know what to say or how to ask the questions that have been tearing me apart. All I know is that the woman I thought I knew, the woman I trusted, wasn't who I thought she was. And I don't know where to go from here. But I will figure it out. Because I have to. Part 2. I spent the next few hours in a fog, unable to think clearly, unable to process what I had just uncovered. The letters in the makeup bag were like a curse. They haunted me. Every word in those letters was a dagger, stabbing deeper with every thought. I tried to shake it off. I tried to be rational, to tell myself that maybe there was some misunderstanding, maybe I was overreacting. But deep down, I knew what I had seen. As the evening wore on, the silence in our apartment grew thicker. She was in the living room, sitting on the couch, staring at her phone. Every time I tried to look at her, the words from those letters echoed in my mind. The person I thought I knew was slipping away from me, and it felt like there was nothing I could do to stop it. I needed to confront her. The waiting was unbearable. The uncertainty was eating away at me, but I didn't know how to start. Where do you even begin when the foundation of your relationship feels like it's crumbling under your feet? How do you confront someone you thought you knew, someone who had been your everything, when they've already left you emotionally? I walked into the living room, trying to steady my breathing. She looked up from her phone and gave me a half smile, like everything was fine, like nothing had changed. I hated that smile. I hated the normalcy she was trying to project when everything between us was shattered. Jake, she said softly, almost like she was trying to calm me down. You're still upset, aren't you? I told you I just need some space, okay? Space. That word again. It was as if she was still trying to avoid the inevitable conversation we needed to have. The conversation that was already burning a hole in my chest. I didn't know how to say it without falling apart, but I had to know. I had to hear it from her. I set my phone down on the table between us. Who's been? I asked, my voice tight. She flinched just a tiny bit, but I saw it. I saw the flicker of guilt, the way her shoulders tensed. It was enough to make my heart sink even deeper. She had been caught in a lie, and she knew it. Jake, please, she started, holding her hands up in a gesture of peace. It's not what you think. Ben's just a coworker. He's nothing. Nothing. I interrupted, leaning forward. Then why did I find your letters, Amy? Why did I find letters where you talk about a future with him? Plans to move in, to be together? Tell me, Amy, how can you say that's nothing? Her face went pale, and she opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. For a moment, we just stared at each other, and the weight of everything that happened hit me all at once. The quiet desperation in her eyes told me that she knew she couldn't talk her way out of this. She was cornered. I never meant to hurt you, she said, finally, her voice soft but wavering. I didn't want this to happen. I've just been feeling so lost lately. I don't know what I want anymore, Jake. I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. I felt a surge of anger. You don't know what you want? You don't know what you're doing. I shook my head, frustrated. You've been writing love letters to a guy behind my back, Amy. You've been planning a future with him, and you still have the nerve to sit here and tell me you're confused." She looked down, her hands twisting in her lap. "I didn't plan it. It wasn't supposed to happen. I swear, I didn't want to hurt you, but it just happened. It's just that sometimes when you feel disconnected, you start looking for something to fill that void. And I thought maybe I was just looking for something to make me feel alive again. I never meant for it to go this far." My chest tightened, and I took a step back, the sting of her words cutting deeper than I could have anticipated. The truth was, I had seen the signs, but I had refused to believe them. Maybe I'd been too blind, too hopeful, too trusting. It didn't matter now. "So what? You've been using me as a backup while you figure things out with him?" I couldn't hide the bitterness in my voice. "Is that what this is?" "No," she said quickly, her voice cracking. "No, I swear. I didn't mean for it to be like that. I never wanted to hurt you. I thought I could figure it out. But now it's clear I can't. I'm so sorry. I messed everything up. You deserve better than this." Her words were like poison to my ears. The apology, the regret. None of it mattered anymore. What hurt the most was that she had gone so far to hide the truth. She had made plans behind my back, lied to me, and then pretended like everything was fine. For a long moment, I just stood there, processing what she had said. The silence between us felt heavy, suffocating. I didn't know what to do with all this pain, this betrayal. I didn't know how to go back to what we had before, the trust, the love, the easy comfort we had with each other. It was all gone now. "I don't know if I can do this anymore," I said, my voice raw. "I don't know if I can keep pretending everything's fine when it's not. I don't think I can trust you anymore, Amy. And that's everything." Her face crumpled, and tears began to spill down her cheeks. She reached for me, but I stepped back. I couldn't let her touch me. "Not now. I'll leave," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I'll go stay at a friend's place for a while. I understand if you need space." I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. She slowly stood, gathered a few things in her arms, and walked past me, heading toward the door. Every step she took felt like a final blow to my heart. When she was gone, I collapsed onto the couch, my hands running through my hair. I felt numb, like I was floating outside my own body, watching it all happen without being able to do anything about it. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if this is the end for us or if there's a way back from all of this. I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive her for what she's done, or if I'll even want to. All I know is that I have to face the truth now. I've lost her, and I don't know who I am without her.